entities, agencies, whatever you want to call them, if they're not run by a government, be it local, state, or federal, it should not get any taxpayer money. Period. Because the basis of it is nothing more than a money laundering scheme. And taxpayer dollars should not be, your hard-earned dollars should not be going towards foisting certain radical and extremist views on either side of the aisle upon the public. That's not what government is for. That's not what tax dollars are for. So I would call for all funding of all governmental agencies from any government, especially the Fed, to immediately cease and desist. And I think we as Americans and we as taxpayers should demand this of candidates and our current elected representatives. We should demand that this stop. I don't care. Don't give me this notion, well, they can't make it work with it. Well, if they can't make it work without government funding, then too damn bad. Then it's not really that important in that community, and it's not really needed. Let it die. Something bigger, better, faster, stronger, all that kind of stuff is going to come up to replace it if it is truly a needed service. Plain and simple. It's going to be in the private sector. It should not be getting government money. And this whole notion that private institutes of higher learning also get government funding should also stop. Look, big education is really big. Unless they make a lot of money in various ways, not just off tuition, by the way. College sports programs are rival that of professional sports as far as the money that's made. The difference is that those college student athletes cannot be paid or reimbursed. But the colleges can make an awful lot of money off of them, and they do. I know they say, well, we give out scholarships, Rod, with that money that we earn. No, not nearly as much as what you're earning. You're making a humongous profit off these amateur athletes. So again, it's a money laundering type of scheme. Taking federal dollars in these private colleges is a money laundering. These colleges don't need it, and if they do, that means that they're not attracting enough students because the college sucks. So let the college die like any other private entity. It's plain and simple in my book. You don't have to. It's not something that really needs a lot of thought in my book. But, I know it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, again, I am loaded to bear here. We, of course, are not going to get through everything as per usual. But I got things from. Got some news on Clock Boy. I'm going to go over that with you in just a moment. Got some news on Confederate battle flag waivers. Wait till you hear this one. And got some Putin news for you. This is this is a good one, and the whole sharing, social media sharing. Is becoming a huge problem. Got some news on that front for you, as well as some Clinton news that doesn't necessarily have to do with her emails or the debate. Stick around for that as well. Plus, what some socialists are saying about Bernie Sanders. But in any event, well, the first thing I should probably go over is that Hillary Clinton, if you haven't heard already, there's a new Fox News poll. New Fox News poll out there. I know, you listen to Fox, right? No, I actually do not watch Fox News. But there's a poll out there. And right now, as of 2016, if the election were held today, Carson, Trump, Bush. Well, yeah. Well, I'm not even. I'm probably not even going to go over that the Bush debacle with Trump, the plant. That's. I'm not shocked. But I am a little, and I'm not surprised. But I'm a little bit upset about that. But I'm not gonna get into that right now. But in this Fox News poll, Carson, Trump, Bush, and Fiorina all beat Hillary Clinton if the election were held today. The surprise is that Carson beats her the worst. The Fox News poll, they put Carson at 50%, at Clinton at 39%. Now, Clinton doesn't get more than 40% against any of the four. But and the next big winner would be Trump, 45% to Clinton's 40%. Now, what's worrisome is what Fox News is Fox News isn't really pointing this out, but what's worrisome about this poll is that more than a third of polled voters still support Clinton after all of this mess with her scandals. More than a third. That is troublesome. That is worrisome. You know, I don't really understand how so many people can be willing to give up their well, let me finish my thought. How so many people can be willing to give up and turn over their liberty and freedom for what they know truly isn't security. I don't know how often it is. Even the left constantly says, "Well, you know, these people just aren't making enough money. We're not giving enough money or putting in enough money to these programs. We got to put in more. There isn't going to be enough money. There cannot be enough money for government welfare programs like we have. Because no matter, let me put it this way. Right now we have one of the worst economies in our nation's history. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, it can't be that bad. Well, it's awful. You have nearly 50 million Americans or more receiving some form of government assistance or benefit every month. You have more than 95 million Americans who are out of the workforce, out of work. We are still down some, 7 to 9 million jobs total, net, in the hole from when Obama took over. We have the Fed that can't raise interest rates simply because if they even raise it to 1%, it is going to throw the economy into the tank again, where they can't hide it. So this whole notion that and we have, confidence is still, consumer confidence is still pretty low. People's wages have stagnated and in many cases have actually gone backwards as far as buying power, even without so-called inflation. Go figure that. How does that happen? Well, because people have to find new jobs, and the new job that they're getting doesn't pay anywhere near what the old job paid. So we have all of this economic turmoil and trouble, but it's being hidden because we're spending ourselves to death on the government side. We have an $18.5 trillion deficit and growing rapidly. in order to support giving money to all these people who are out of work and not producing anything, not contributing back to society. And no, Ms. Pelosi, unemployment and welfare benefits do not boost the economy. Because we're not giving enough to these people for them to advance themselves. All they're basically doing is surviving, unless, of course, they're living in, they're the real welfare recipients and getting multiple types of governmental benefits from state and federal level. Section 8 housing and food assistance and healthcare assistance and this assistance and that assistance. Look, in some states, a welfare recipient, if they play the numbers right and they follow the so-called rules, you're looking at earning $25,000 to $30,000 a year given to them. Well, that's not poverty. And if they don't have to pay what your middle class person has to pay, full price for. I even heard a commercial about some farmers market in Maine or something like that. I didn't really pay attention till they got to the point in the commercial where they accept SNAP. Okay, that's fine. Farmers market accepts SNAP. And I'm thinking, well, farmers markets are usually kind of pricey, depending on which farmers market you go to and where the farmers market is located. It can be a little bit more expensive than going to the grocery store, but at least you're getting, supposedly fresh, locally grown food, right? But here's the gist. Here's the rest of the story on that one, as Paul Harvey would say. Not only do they accept SNAP, food stamps or food assistance payments, cards, but you get a discount if you're on SNAP. Yeah, you heard me right. According to the radio ad, if you're on SNAP, you get a discount. Now, I don't recall hearing what the discount amount was, but you're still getting a discount. Now, regular hardworking people who actually earn their money, the middle class, and the working poor who aren't using SNAP, they don't get a discount. They got to pay full price. I know some people will say, well, they're stretching our government dollars, right? No. The point is that they're giving a discount to people who really don't deserve it. I'm sorry. No, I don't think they should be spending, buku dollars on food, but to only give we used to give discounts to seniors. I didn't hear the ad say that they were giving the radio spot saying they were giving discounts to senior citizens at this farmers market. But if you had SNAP and used your SNAP card, you got a discount. Now, there's something wrong with that. I mean, I realize it's the state of Maine, but still, there's something seriously wrong with that. So, again, I don't understand how more than 1/3 of the polled voters can still support. Well, I do, because it's all media driven. It's all, Kardashian-esque, if you will. Celebrityism, all that kind of stuff, which I thoroughly hate, by the way. I don't reality stuff, but it contributes to an uninformed class of people, masses of people. And when you have uninformed voters, that's a problem. So all these people see for Clinton is, oh, she's a Democrat. She cares. Because Democrats care. That's how you get to 1/3 support, because they don't fully understand or pay attention to all her scandals, which would prove that she doesn't really care. But they think she cares, I guess. So that's what counts, which is why you get 39 and 40% support for her. Getting beat handedly by the top 4 candidates in the Republican Party. Think about that.